The Rock should come clean right now. He should make a video in response to the Liver King video. I need to talk to you because The Rock's been lying.
When Dwayne Johnson, better known as The Rock, hit the red carpet at the Venice Film Festival, fans noticed something instantly. The larger-than-life physique that had become his trademark looked different. This wasn't some tiny change only hardcore fans would catch. It was obvious enough to spark a flood of whispers online. For years, The Rock looked untouchable, a walking symbol of strength, discipline, and non-stop hustle. But now, in his 50s, people are starting to realize even he may not be invincible. After he opened up about heart-related issues and needing long-term medication, that superhero image took a serious hit.
The Rock should come clean right now. He should make a video in response to the Liver King video. I need to talk to you because The Rock's been lying. There's not a fucking chance in hell he's clean.
No.
Not a chance in hell. As big as The Rock is, at 50?
The last few years, he's definitely like turned it up a notch.
At 50.
Yeah.
That's natural, bro. That's
how could you think otherwise?
Eats a lot of sushi.
Yeah.
It's like you can't even get there with HRT.
Suddenly, fans began asking questions they'd never asked before. For years, Johnson sold a powerful message. Wake up at 4 a.m., outwork everyone, and success will follow. His social media was packed with brutal workouts, motivational speeches, and proof that hard work could build an empire. And what an empire it was. He became one of the highest paid stars in Hollywood, turning his body and work ethic into a global brand. But now, people are wondering if they were seeing the full picture, if his famous physique wasn't as straightforward as it seemed, and these recent changes point to something deeper. What does that say about the image he spent years building? Once that question popped up, everything started looking different. And when fans looked back, the warning signs may have been there all along. The first major crack came in 2016 during the Fate of the Furious. In a shocking Instagram post, Johnson blasted some of his male co-stars as unprofessional candy asses.
The fund, there was some backlash that came with launching the fund, and I want to address and acknowledge that backlash right now. And here's what I have to say about that. I get it, and I completely understand, and I could have been better.
Fans quickly linked the comment to Vin Diesel, and suddenly The Rock's carefully polished image didn't look quite so perfect. Until then, he seemed impossible to dislike, the rare superstar who went from wrestling legend to Hollywood powerhouse, while still feeling like a regular guy. But after that moment, people started watching much more closely.
Vin Diesel couldn't be on set at the same time. They hate each other so bad. They had to shoot different scenes and like shoot it so it looked like someone was there. They hate each other so much.
Didn't the Rock gotten a big thing with Tyrese too, right?
Tyrese just flipping out because like all he has is Fast and Furious.
Really?
So that when the Rock did a spinoff, he's like, "How dare you? We're a family." Rock was like, "No, we're not."
But a carefully crafted image only holds up until the cracks start showing. By 2019, more people were questioning how much control The Rock had over his public persona. Reports claimed he had a no-lose clause, meaning his characters couldn't look too weak on screen. Other action stars have done similar things, but with Johnson, it felt different. Why? Because this was the same guy constantly preaching humility, hard work, and staying grounded. So when fans heard he was carefully managing how he looked, the contradiction was hard to ignore. Even small moments started raising eyebrows. A simple game of rock, paper, scissors turned strangely competitive, and the clips spread fast online. At that point, fans weren't just watching The Rock anymore, they were studying him. Then came a moment that really rubbed people the wrong way. In 2023, Johnson posted about trying In-N-Out Burger for the first time. Sounds harmless, right?
But remember when The Rock was shitting on his music?
That was fantastic.
That guy, you know what he does? He just goes to the gym.
The Rock
With 2 hours sleep.
a lot of steroids.
You think?
Joe.
Do you really?
You think he's getting big like that from cocaine again?
Cocaine again? He used to do cocaine?
No, I'm saying the
Not for long. Fans quickly found older videos where he had made the exact same claim years earlier. Johnson laughed it off and said he forgot, but many people weren't buying it. One viral comment summed up the growing frustration. He's a walking billboard. And that label stuck. At the same time, questions about his physique got louder. Even Joe Rogan publicly speculated about whether Johnson had used performance-enhancing substances. Johnson has consistently said he is natural, aside from experimenting once at 18. But the real issue wasn't just his body, it was the message behind his brand. His entire image was built on one idea: discipline and hard work can achieve anything. So if fans started doubting that story, the whole foundation began to shake. Then came another major controversy. During the Maui wildfire crisis, Johnson and Oprah Winfrey pledged $10 million and asked the public to donate too. Some praised the effort. Others asked why two hugely wealthy celebrities were turning to everyday people for more money. The backlash was intense, and Johnson later admitted the rollout could have been handled better. By then, the mood had shifted. Every appearance felt more polished, more controlled, and a lot less spontaneous than before.
And the company always told me, hey, you can't smile enough. I was like, what do you mean? You go out, you smile. I want to make sure everybody knows you're grateful. Gratitude of attitude.
When Dwayne Johnson appeared on the Joe Rogan Experience, fans expected something real and unfiltered. Instead, many felt like they were watching Damage Control. Johnson admitted that his wrestling career taught him to stay positive and play a character at all times. That one comment explained a lot. To some viewers, it sounded like the polished version of The Rock might always be part performance. Then came the biggest gamble of his Hollywood career, Black Adam. This wasn't supposed to be just another superhero movie. Johnson had spent years hyping the role, and behind the scenes, reports suggested he wanted Black Adam to become a central figure in DC's future. Originally, Black Adam was closely tied to Shazam in the comics and in early movie plans. But as the project evolved, the focus shifted. Instead of building toward Black Adam versus Shazam, Johnson pushed a different vision: Black Adam as a major rival to Superman.
Every night they were chanting Rocky sucks.
Whoa.
And I had to smile through it. The bosses were telling me, no, you got to smile. No, keep smiling. Ignore it. Ignore it. Just ignore it.
That strategy led to Henry Cavill's surprise Superman cameo, a moment that thrilled fans at first. But once the excitement faded, many started asking the same question: why skip over Black Adam's most natural storyline? Online, critics argued that Johnson seemed more interested in creating a blockbuster showdown than staying true to the character's roots. And that's when the conversation changed. What once looked like passion started to look more like control. Reports claimed Johnson was trying to shape a DC universe around Black Adam, placing himself at the center of the franchise. But the plan didn't go the way he hoped. Despite years of buildup, Black Adam underperformed at the box office. Soon after, stories about behind-the-scenes tension began to surface. There were even reports that he wanted to promote his tequila brand during the PG-13 film, which reportedly frustrated some people involved. Whether every rumor was accurate or not, the perception was clear. Business and branding seemed to be taking center stage. Once the movie failed to meet expectations, the larger DC plans quickly unraveled. And for many fans, that was the most surprising part. For years, Johnson built a reputation as the humble, hard-working star who always seemed in control. But when one of his biggest projects stumbled, that carefully managed image suddenly looked a lot more vulnerable.
So concerned about what was happening in Maui. And so we have created the People's Fund of Maui that will put money directly in the hands of the people who need it right now. So if you send a donation, just click where you see below and send a donation. That money is going to go to one of many residents who have been displaced.
When the pressure was at its highest, Johnson's next move raised even more questions. Instead of stepping back after the Black Adam fallout, he returned to WWE. On paper, it looked like the perfect comeback. The Rock going back to where it all started should have been a guaranteed win. But fans had already invested over a year in Cody Rhodes' story. The goal was simple: finish the story by challenging Roman Reigns for the championship. Then, Johnson stepped in and took center stage. And fans were not happy. Many felt Cody was being pushed aside at the exact moment he was supposed to have his biggest opportunity. The backlash was immediate and impossible to miss. The video featuring the handover became one of WWE's most disliked uploads. And for one of the first times in years, Johnson's social media numbers reportedly dipped.
The reason or the reasons for the stopping of Black Adam?
I think that Black Adam got caught in a vortex of new leadership.
That said a lot about how fans were feeling. To his credit, Johnson adjusted course and Cody Rhodes regained the spotlight. Fans respected that decision, but the controversy highlighted something bigger. For years, people had wondered where The Rock ended and where Dwayne Johnson began. Was the larger-than-life persona just part of the act, or was this the real version showing through? Online comments captured the split perfectly. Some said he seemed out of character. Others argued he had never seemed more genuine. Either way, the line between the performer and the person looked blurrier than ever. And just as that debate was heating up, another major project was on the horizon. Red One was supposed to be Johnson's big comeback, a fun, family-friendly blockbuster that would put him right back on top.
4 on the market and a training shoe. And I just realized you just saw my big bottle of pee. Look, I go hardcore when I train. I don't have time to go to the bathroom. I find a bottle, I pee in it, and I keep training like a...
Instead of becoming a huge comeback, Red One turned into another tough moment for Dwayne Johnson. With a reported budget of around $250 million, the movie struggled to make back its costs and performed even worse than Baywatch, a film many had already viewed as a disappointment. But the box office wasn't the only problem. The bigger story was what was happening behind the scenes. Reports claimed Johnson's delays may have added tens of millions of dollars to production costs. Insiders alleged he sometimes arrived hours late, and on certain days, crews were left waiting while expenses kept climbing.
A film called Lizard Music, which is based off of a novel written by Daniel Pinkwater. And the role that I will play is a very whimsical and eccentric 70-something-year-old man called the Chicken Man. And his best friend is a 70-something-year-old chicken.
Then one unusual detail sent the internet into overdrive. Multiple outlets reported that Johnson used bottles instead of taking bathroom breaks while on set. At first, his team pushed back on the story, but during an interview, Johnson acknowledged it by saying, "I pee in a bottle? Yeah, that happens." That quote only made the story bigger. He also admitted that he can be late at times, even if he disputed some of the more dramatic claims. And once that conversation started, older reports resurfaced, including stories from previous productions where he was allegedly late on a regular basis.
The reason for all his weight loss is he's going to be starring in a new movie called Lizard Music, where he plays a 70-year-old man whose best friend is a chick.
Suddenly, fans were asking a difficult question. How does that fit with the image of the hardest worker in the room? Even when co-stars defended him, the criticism didn't fully disappear. Because at a certain level of fame, one person's habits can affect hundreds of people behind the scenes. That's often how Hollywood works. The bigger the star, the more the entire production adjusts around them. And when that happens, the gap between a public image and private reality can become impossible to ignore. We've seen this before. Celebrities build powerful brands around specific values, but when their actions appear to conflict with those values, public opinion can shift very quickly. That doesn't mean Johnson has become a villain. He remains one of the most successful and highest paid actors in the world. But for many fans, the trust feels different now. The image of the endlessly humble, always relatable superstar doesn't feel as automatic as it once did. And that may be the real turning point. For years, the rock brand seemed bigger than life. Now people are more interested in the person behind it. The next chapter could be crucial. Johnson has major projects ahead, including the live-action Moana and the Smashing Machine. Early reactions to the Smashing Machine suggest it shows a much rawer, more vulnerable side of his acting. And that could be exactly what he needs. Because if he wants to win people back, the answer may be surprisingly simple. Drop the polished superhero image and just be real. No carefully managed persona. No need to look invincible. Just a strong performance that reminds people why they connected with him in the first place. So now the biggest question is this: can Dwayne Johnson reinvent himself by letting go of The Rock? Or has the image become too big to escape? What do you think? Is this just a rough patch, or are fans finally seeing the real story behind one of Hollywood's biggest stars?